Fantasy Chicks. I'm Ashley.
I'm Courtney.
And today we're going to be talking about all the books that we hold very close to our heart. We're going to be talking about the books we'd like to read again and again, our comfort reads, and the books we wish we could read for the very first time. This video is going to have so many spoilers, so if you don't want to have spoilers for certain books, you could just skip ahead. We'll mention the books beforehand, so that way you know when you need to skip forward. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the books we'd read again and again. These are books that we'd likely fit in the other two categories, but we just love them so much that we don't really care to read them for the first time. We just want to read them again and again and again.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be the plot, the characters, or anything in between. They just are that intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
So, Courtney, what two romance books would you read again and again, and why?
So the first one I picked was Nero. I know it's like dark romance, but I picked it for romance.
Mm.
And that is because it's the start of the Alliance Men series.
Mm.
And he's my favorite of the characters from that series.
So yummy.
And the book is just written amazing, characters amazing, plot amazing. So I could eat that up again and again and again.
That was the first book we ever read by S.J. Tilley.
Mm-hmm.
Girl.
Yeah.
It put us into her world and we have not stepped back out.
Have not exited. Have not exited so much that my second book that I picked was Sin 2 because of Angelo. And again, characters written amazing, plot amazing, male main character amazing. Like, yeah. I could eat that book up again and again and again.
What's hilarious is I put the Sin series. I just put series. I didn't put like the specific books or anything. But obviously by S.J. Tilley, like she said, the men weren't. Angelo especially. Yeah. That book I would read again and again and again. That man is daddy or zaddy with a Z.
Like no notes when we read that book.
None whatsoever. No. The third one, man.
The third one had some notes,
but the second one, fire. Yeah. And the first one was great too, so I would read those again and again. And then I put the Off-Campus series by L. Kennedy.
Really? Okay.
I love Graham and Logan.
I know.
The first two books were so good. But the other two...
I know. I feel like that's kind of why I forget about that series. Like, not forget about it, but don't think to choose it because the last two books I didn't really love.
Yeah.
But the first two
were so good. I even like Dean's book. Mm-hmm. But I don't really care for the guy that ends up being a dad, like, in his book.
Yeah.
He was just there.
Yeah,
he was just the friend that was just there. His name. Yeah, me either. But I love those two. Mm-hmm. And then for my two fantasy books, I chose Dorothy Must Die. Courtney knows I have talked about these books so often, and I try to get her to read them, but I just don't think they're like something she's interested in. And then Shadow and Bone. Girl, you know I love Shadow and Bone.
You do love Shadow and Bone.
I read that book twice. Yep. I read the whole series twice, and I'm getting into the other 4 books eventually. Mm-hmm. But... I love Shadow and Bone. Yeah. Alina is so adorable in Mal. And the Darkling, I don't like, villains never really catch my heart. But this villain, I was just like, I will sell my soul for you too. It's okay. If I was Alina, I would pick you too. You're crazy. I'm crazy. Yes. And then for Dorothy Must Die, I picked it just because it gives the Wizard of Oz universe such a brilliant, twist. Mm-hmm. Where Dorothy and Glinda and all of the good people are bad, and I was just like, oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
It was so good.
Like a good retelling. Mm-hmm. Yeah. For my fantasy ones, I picked A Court of Mist and Fury because I loved that book. It was so good. From the ACOTAR series. That one was so good. Mm-hmm. I remember when we read it and we did the sticky tabs, I went through packs in that book. Like, everything, I was just like, sticky tags. Like, it was crazy.
That book was just so good. ACOTAR was so good, but ACOMAF was so good.
So good. Mm-hmm. So I picked ACOMAF, and then The Shadow and the Draw, actually, just because, that was the one that I read in March, and I really liked it. It was easy to read. It was good plot. It had everything you want in a fantasy book. Yeah. It wasn't, a crazy world that you had to... Sometimes I feel like with fantasy books, where they get me is the world building, and if it's like too much or whatever. So I think it was just enough.
Yeah.
So I liked that one.
What did you pick for your dystopian? Did you have a dystopian?
I did not have dystopian, so you can
just
go on that one. Which actually is crazy because me writing that I didn't have dystopian books makes me realize that I need to read more dystopian books.
It's not like a huge genre, but it's a great genre. Like what is in that genre is fantastic. So like we have The Hunger Games, Divergent, Maze Runner, The Host, Ready Player One. Like all of those are dystopian books, and that's my genre.
Yeah,
you know, I'd be living in there.
I know that's your genre, and that's why I'm like, I need to get into that because I feel like I'm missing out.
Yes.
Yes.
You are. So I picked Divergent, not including the last one. Fuck the last one. No one that's a fan of Divergent loves the last one. They all read this fan fiction online and they claim that as the third book because the ending of the third book is so terrible that no one likes it. Girl, why are you killing off the main character? What sense does that make?
None.
You're telling me we go through this whole series, this whole thing of her being Divergent, her being the one to save everybody for her to die at the end? Like, who does that?
That's crazy. So have you read the fanfic?
No. Is when I read Divergent, I think I'm gonna read them next month or the month after. I'm gonna read the fanfic. I'm not gonna read Allegiant. I'm gonna go to the fanfic because I can't deal with her.
That's fair.
Dying. Like, what is the fucking point of that?
Yeah. And there's 4 books in the series?
Yeah, so there's 3
she died
books.
at the end of the 3rd.
Yeah.
And then there's another book.
The 4th book is like novellas from the beginning. And then a little bit after she dies, where 4 moves on.
Got you.
4.
Okay.
4 was not my first book boyfriend, because everyone knows that Harden was my first book boyfriend. But 4, I would say he was, if not my second, my third, because I think I read Maze Runner before I read Divergent. So.
Got you. Okay.
Zaddy. My baby. What smut book would you read again and again?
Latte Darling.
Oh.
That book had me in a chokehold.
He's so fine.
So fine. The smut was amazing. I love Daddy Axel. Like, I just love him. And it's, that's my trope. It was just, that's everything I could ever want and more.
It's perfect for Courtney.
And it was so spicy. It was so good. That, 10 out of 10. I could read that 100 times.
It was pretty good. You read it first, and then you were like, Ashley, read this right now.
Yeah.
I don't care what you're reading. Read this right now. And I did, and I was just like, oh. It was so good.
Literally. What about you?
I picked Dragon's Bride.
Really? Okay.
Okay.
I anticipated like the Never King or something from you.
That's later somewhere else.
Okay.
Girl, the Dragon's Bride. I don't really care for Katee Roberts. So sorry.
Yeah.
As an author, sometimes
we're not the biggest stands over here.
Right. I read her sexy Disney books, and they were okay. Yeah. I got bored with them really quickly. And I think we have the Neon God series that we just have not.
Yeah, we're afraid to dabble in that.
And then we did the Vampire Queen books, and they were not good either.
Yep.
But this one, it was short, it was to the point, and the plot, what plot? Who cares about the plot? The plot is that she's having sex with a dragon, and he's got 2 penises. That was the plot.
That's the plot.
And it was great. For what it was giving, it was great. And is it weird? Yes. Did I care? No. It was fantastic. The smut was great. It was like Beauty and the Beast, but with a dragon.
Okay, yeah.
Perfect. And then for our other genre books, what did you pick?
So I picked one for this one, and I picked Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I read this last year. I just really liked the concept of the book. It basically is she is at this party, and she either decides to go home with her friends or go home with this guy that she knew in high school, whatever. And then it kind of takes you through the 2 parallel timelines of how her life would play out based off of this one decision and like how drastic and different it was. And I just thought it was a really good book. I really liked it when I read it, and I feel like it's one where like if I just needed not a comfort, but like if I wanted to different. Like right, yeah, like that is a book that I would definitely go back to over and over and read it.
What's crazy is I also picked her.
What did you pick from her?
The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo.
Really?
I know when we read it, I didn't like it. Yeah. But now thinking about like the book, I'm like, damn, it was so different, and the twist was so good.
It was really different than like a lot of
and I think that's why we just didn't like it when we read it, because it was so different. But now, like, I kind of appreciate how different it is. Mm-hmm. So I picked that.
Okay.
The twist was fantastic, and then like the connection to her dad and stuff like that. I was just like, oh. And now thinking about it, I'd read it again.
Okay.
And maybe again. Okay. And maybe a fourth time if I'm ever bored. But like, yeah, it was pretty good. And then for thriller, I picked The Perfect Son. We all know I love Frieda McFadden, but that was the first book I read by her.
Yes, and it was I remember that.
Fucking good. I could never get bored reading that book, so I had to. If I need a Frieda like cleanse, and I want to get back into her, I know I could read The Perfect Son, and I would be a-okay.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so that's all of the books that we'd read again and again. We're gonna get into our comfort reads, starting with the romance books. But comfort books are books that are stories we carry either with us, or stories that we could go back to whenever we hit a slump, or just need a reminder of why we read books in the first place. So for romance books, what 3 did you pick?
So I picked Lotus, obviously. I mean, you guys have heard me talk about this book 100 times, but it's just it's like such a like feel good, which is crazy that he's a kidnapped victim, but like it is like a feel good, like the love story is like super innocent and very I love Oliver. So love him, comfort read for sure. Also in that series, pick The Stars Are on Our Side, just because I really liked the way that the 2 main characters found love again, their character development, all of that. And then my last one that I picked is After, because I, again, love to watch the character development, love Hardin, love that man to death.
He's so hot.
And, like, I feel like that's just it's a really good book to just, like, have as a nice comfort read, for sure.
I don't think I could read the whole series. I think maybe just the first one. I've read the whole series more than once.
Right.
But just the first one.
Yeah, that's why I specifically picked After, because I liked that one the best of the whole series.
Yeah. I also put After.
Did you really? Look at us!
I read it so many times. I read it when it was first on Wattpad, and I was... First of all, I should not have been on Wattpad at the age that it was coming out in. But I read it on Wattpad, and then I read it again, because I had it on my phone, obviously. And then when I got the copies, the physical copy, I read it again. And then I read it with Courtney. So I'm already at 4 times. So obviously I could read it again and again. Hardin is my forever love book boyfriend.
He's a good one.
He's so toxic, but he redeems himself so much throughout the series. And I just wish he had a better girlfriend like me.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tessa.
Felt.
Ugh, but he was so hot. And then I also picked It Ends With Us duology, and I don't support or anything with Colleen Hoover, but those 2 are so good, and they're the only 2 books I like by her. I've tried a lot of other books
by her.
They're like very hit or miss. I think she has like 4 popular books, and these are 2 of the 4.
Yeah.
These 2 are so good. It has like real life topics. It has domestic violence and stuff like that. I read those when I was like in a time of need, when I was going through my own stuff. So I just, they
bring you comfort. Yeah.
They were in a place with me, and they'll always be in that place with me. And then the last one I picked, it has a dystopian like subgenre, but it's called The Selection.
Is that the one with the girls on the in the dresses on the front?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I've read those I think 3 times already.
Okay.
And I love Maxon. He's so adorable. He's the prince, and usually the prince he needs to get married, so they go and they pick 24 girls, the selection, and he has to find a wife between one of the 24 girls, and he cuts them as he goes, and it's like The Bachelor.
I was just gonna say, like The Bachelor.
Yeah, and then he gets to his final 3, and then the rebels try and kill them, and it's just crazy. It's just so good. It's crazy.
What time frame is it?
Later than us.
Okay. So future.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there was a war and stuff like that, and now it's kind of like the Hunger Games in the future.
Okay.
But instead of districts, everyone's in a rank.
Okay.
So the higher your rank is, so the king and queen and prince, they're ones, and the lower your rank is, the less money you have. It's good. It's nice.
Okay.
It's a good story. And then for fantasy, I don't think it's gonna come as a surprise when I say I picked Percy Jackson.
Yeah.
God knows how many times I read these damn books. Percy Jackson has me in a chokehold, okay? Greek mythology, adventures, quests, missions, monsters. It literally has everything. It's got duels. It's got love. It's perfect. Yeah. I'll read it again and again and again. And then I also picked I Am Number 4, which shouldn't be a surprise either. I've had those books the second longest in my library, and perfection. Aliens, powers, villains, children on the run, cute little dog that turns into big scary monster. It's pretty cute. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then the last one I picked was Maximum Ride, and that was the book I've had forever. If you saw season 1, I've had that book since I was 10 years old.
Yep.
I literally had the bookmark and all of the stuff to go with it. It's so comforting to me. But I would only read the first one again and again and again.
Okay.
I actually don't think I've ever finished that series. But there's 7 books, and then they did
a series you haven't finished that you've had for that long? I know. Who are you?
I think I've only ever gotten to book 3, and then I'm just like, okay, I'm good.
This is enough.
Yeah, I'm good. I'll start over another time. Maybe next year they'll make my TBR, but I'm not depressed about it, which is surprising.
Which is surprising for you.
Mm-hmm. What 3 fantasy books did you pick?
Okay, so I picked The Lunar Chronicles, actually. Cinder.
So good.
So good. Loved it. I loved all of those books. I feel like there wasn't one where we didn't enjoy it.
We didn't enjoy the last one.
It was winter, right?
No, Stars Above.
Stars Above. Yeah. Yeah, Stars Above.
The novellas, they were just okay.
That's what it was.
We're dragging this now.
I was trying to think of
These could have been epilogues.
Yeah, exactly. I would
very short.
If I was to read it again, which I definitely would, I would not read Stars Above, probably.
Yeah. Or it doesn't give anything that you can't Google.
Right.
Oh well.
It wasn't really necessary.
Yeah.
But still love that one. And then I also picked ACOTAR, just because I feel like it was my first fantasy series that I really delve into when we started reading again.
Yeah.
But again, same thing with that. I would read the first 3. I don't really want to Frost and Starlight, and then Silver Flames. I mean, it was good.
It was too long.
It was too long.
Why are we at 600 something pages for a book?
Exactly.
This is not something we should be doing. We should not be encouraging this bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
Not at all. If you want to give us 600 pages, you need to give us 2 different stories.
Yeah. It was just way too much. It didn't need to be all that.
Correct.
So I picked, I did 2. So I picked those 2.
Oh, okay.
For my fantasy.
Did you have a dystopian one in this? Did you have a dystopian in any of them?
No.
Okay. Then I'll go. For dystopian, I picked Hunger Games.
Mm-hmm.
As I am reading, I have read the main 3, obviously, a shit ton of times. My sister put me onto the series. It was kind of when I was already reading Maze Runner and Divergent, so I was going to read it eventually. But she put me on, and I just read Sunrise on the Reaping for the first time.
Yes.
Oh my god. I'm not going to spoil it.
I know. I'm so excited to talk about that in our April wrap-up.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to spoil it right now.
You guys got to tune in for that.
Oh my god. I'm about to cry right now. It was so good. It was fantastic. And I'm so I would read that again and again. And it's crazy to say that the Hunger Games brings me comfort when kids are dying left and right. But it's so good. And obviously Peeta Mellark and Finnick, yeah. Mm-hmm. Obviously I have a thing with men in books, but who doesn't? Especially these two. But they're so good and they're so perfect. Okay, what smut book did you put?
I put King.
Daddy.
Yes. That's the second one from the Alliance series. Just because, like, the man that he is, I don't know how else to say it. Like,
he's perfect.
He is just perfect, and like,
he's not morally gray.
He's
black.
Right.
He will kill you.
He is black, but in the best way possible, and I love it. I loved his book. I did. He's
Touch My Wife and You Die.
Yeah.
He is I will burn the whole world for you, and I don't care. He's perfect.
And that's all I need. Like, it's perfect.
Oh, damn, I think we need to read this series again, like, right now.
I know. I was thinking about it, too. I'm like, oh, I could go for a reread.
I think when we finish these two series that we have open right now, we're gonna have to.
Yeah.
I picked The Vicious Lost Boys.
Okay, there it is.
The Never King. Their Darling, The Dark One, and The Fake Princess. For that one. It's a Peter Pan retelling. I'm a Disney adult. It's got smut. It's got The Lost Boys. It's even got Tinkerbell. Like, it's got Hook. It's perfect. It was perfect. I love it. I'll read it again. And yeah, they're on our extra for this year. I'd read it again. And then for my two other genre books, I picked the Disney villain series, where it tells the Disney stories and the villain's point of view. So they have like Maleficent, Cruella, Gaston, the Beast, even though we got Gaston already. We get Ursula. Those books were so good. The other point of views, it's just like a great way to get their side of the story too. It's kind of like when they made the live action Maleficent movie. So you understand the villain too, even though they're fucking wrong, you still understand them. And for like the Beast, he's not a villain, but he's not the hero. And Beauty and the Beast is my favorite. If you could see behind you guys or have ever went to my wedding, you would understand that it's my favorite. So they're really good. And then I picked Lore of Olympus graphic novels.
Oh, yes.
It touches on like a lot of themes. Like I said, like what it ends with us that I understand, and so it brings me comfort that books touch on these things and that I can relate and go through it with those characters and survive with those characters too. So that's what I picked.
Love
it.
What
did you pick?
I didn't have any for like another genre for this one, just because I was trying to think, but a lot of my books that I read are obvious, like fall into like
the two characters.
Like the romance, the smut, like fantasy, like a lot of them kind of like fall into that. So I didn't have any ones that were like a different genre, because the only other genres that I think would be like a thriller, which like I don't know, brings me comfort and stuff like that. So yeah.
Do you have any honorable mentions then that you want to do?
Ooh, that's a good question. Because
it's so hard to narrow down these categories.
It really is. Like when I was thinking about it too, I'm like, oh, I love this one. Oh, I love this one. You know, and I just kind of like looked back at the ones that we've read and things like that.
I know when I was making my list, I had to be like, no, but I want to read this one for the first time. But this one also brings me comfort. But this one I would read again. It was like, they fit everywhere.
Right, exactly.
It was really hard.
Yeah. I don't think so though.
You're good?
Yeah, I think I'm good.
So now we're gonna get into topic 3, and it's books that we wish we could read for the very first time. Fresh brain, no memory, and these books were just so good that you wish that you could experience it a brand new. So, what 2 romance books do you wish you could read again for the first time?
I have a diabolical choice for one of these.
Okay.
The Last Letter.
Oh,
I want to get my heart. If I wanted to get my heart shredded again, like ripped, literally, this book ripped my heart out, stomped on it, like put it through a shredder, and then gave it back to me.
I put that on my list too, but I put it all the way at the bottom. In the other genre, even though it's romance.
It is, yeah. That's why I like it. It is romance, but I
don't think it that way.
I don't. Yeah, no. Yeah, exactly. It's categorized as romance, but
no. Yeah, I'm not thinking of the romance after what you did to me in this book. Fuck that.
The way that book destroyed me, but if I wanted, I feel like I couldn't read it again, knowing what happened and like how everything happened. So it would have to be one where I could read it and not have any recollection of what happened, because that book. And then the other one that I picked was Still Beating, also by Jennifer Hartmann. And again, that's like dark romance more than romance, but just the way you're like on the edge of your seat, like the whole time, like what's gonna happen next, like, and not knowing what was gonna happen next, I feel like just made it so much more exciting. So I would definitely read it over and over because I did love that book. But I feel like, again, similar to The Last Letter, I would just already know what's gonna happen, and so like I don't know if it would hit the same, if that makes sense. Yeah. So those are the two that I picked.
I'm gonna go with the second one first. I picked the Alliance series. Okay, the men, they're perfect. I want to read King and Nero, especially for the first time all over again. I don't think I would put Dom or Han in that category because fuck Dom.
I agree with that.
Fuck Dom.
He's toxic.
He's toxic, but so is Harden. But like, this is Harden's side, and this Dom's like on the whole other side of the spectrum of how toxic.
And like, if we're saying it's toxic, like clearly with us, bad. Yeah, it's bad.
And then Han was just there. He was cute. He was adorable. He was just there.
Yeah, his was like more of like a.
It was a closure.
Yeah, that was it.
But the other one I picked was The Fabric of Our Souls. Oh my god, I love this fucking book. But I need to read it, and we're gonna read it again this year. Yeah. Or I'm gonna read it again this year, but I feel like I need to read it as if I've never read it before.
Do you think you're gonna be able to? Well, yeah. It's been a little bit since you've read it.
I think
too,
it will be well over a year by the time we read it. So I'm excited. Yeah. Especially for the second one. I never read the second one.
I'm excited to read those too.
That's what I picked. And then for my fantasy books, I picked The Lunar Chronicles. As you can see, Courtney was talking about our tabbing. Yeah. I went through these 2 shades of pink and my 2 shades of purple so fast. I think I went through 3 bundles of those 3 colors. Yeah. Those 4 colors. It has everything you can need. The men were perfect. It has fairy tale retelling. It has war. It's perfect. And then I also picked ACOTAR. Okay. We've talked about ACOTAR a lot already, but the first one is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. You guys know how I am. I love retellings. I love Disney retellings, fairy tale retellings. So those 2, obviously, I want to read them again for the first time. And I've read both of them more than once. So it's kind of just like, fuck it, let me read it brand new. And then I had this genius idea that we're not going to touch upon about the 2 books, but I'm not going to tell you. It's my secret. I'm not going to tell you. What 2 fantasy books did you choose?
So I also put The Lunar Chronicles down again. I loved that one. It was so good. And I definitely would read it again and wish brand new, just experience it all over again. It was so good.
It was.
And then I didn't put, this isn't a series. Well, it is a series, but I'm not putting the series down. But I did say Throne of Glass, specifically the first one. Because the first one was so good.
It really was.
It was so good. Like, I still think about that book. Yeah. But we can't get back into it. Like,
I think it's just the books were shorter.
Yeah. 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 But I really, really liked the first one. But again, kind of led to our crash out. So it
really did. I think if we didn't have to do a tandem for the next 2, we could do it. But if we do just one and not the other, I don't think I can get through a whole book of KO without the other one.
And I wish that if we read it again for the first time, we did Assassin Blade first. Yeah. So that also is why I thought of like that book when it was like for the first time ever, just because I feel like it would have made so much more sense. I don't know why people riot around reading it in the order. Yeah.
It makes no sense. You don't have any dystopian, so I'm just gonna say mine. I did The Maze Runner. I love The Maze Runner. Tom, Minnow, and Newt. Those are my book boyfriends too, obviously. I'm just a book whore, obviously. I just have a lot of book boyfriends. And I think that was the first dystopian book I ever read. I need to read it again because they came out with a sub series that goes to that. But I don't want to read it again because of Newt. Reading his death is terrible.
Yeah.
I don't care about Tom or Minnow surviving. I would rather Newt have survived. And I think that's why the author killed him off. Because everyone loved him so much. It was cruel. Traumatizing.
So cruel.
Yeah, it was traumatizing. As a child, you're just sitting there like... And I've read it more than once. I think I've read it 3 or 4 times now. And I have plans to read them again this year, but I wish that I could read it for the first time again so I can not mentally prepare for Newt's death. Because I want to read it fresh and new.
Fresh. Yeah.
All over again. And that's tragic. I think there's something mentally wrong with me at this point. But
I mean, that's how I felt when I picked The Last Letter, because I'm just signing up for ripping my heart out. So,
but yeah, that was what I picked for my dystopian. And then for spicy smut, what did you pick?
I picked The Sinner. That okay, love that book.
Just the one.
So good. Just The Sinner. Well, I would read, so I read them so out of order because they are technically standalones, but they're interconnected and whatnot. So it is supposed to be like the ritual, the sinner, the sacrifice, and then the carnage, like, guys. But I read it like the sinner, then I read the sacrifice, I think, then I read it all out of order. Because I didn't know. I just had seen the Sinner on, I think, like, TikTok or Facebook or whatever it was a couple years ago when I, like, first got back into reading. So I didn't even really look into it. I was just like, okay, I want to read this.
You guys had to, let's go.
I was like, let's do it. But, like, there's just so much that happens in that book that I feel like would be good to experience it fresh again. Like, there's so much, especially knowing how it ends and all of that. Like, I think it would just be good to read it again, and like just how tragic and triggering that book is. I feel like, again, what's wrong with me? I don't know, but I want to get traumatized all over again.
I picked The Hot Vampire Next Door, where the Vicious Lost Boys, I would read it for comfort.
Yeah.
This one, I want to experience it for the first time. Jesus. Just because we didn't get to read the last one, or the last one wasn't out yet when we had finished the 4th one. And we're going to finally finish that series out this year, but I want to read it as if I've never read any of it.
Yeah.
But we can't, unfortunately. That's not how brains work.
Yeah.
So that's what I picked, that one.
That's valid.
And then, do you have any other genre books that you wish you could read again for the first time?
No.
No? I picked The Boyfriend by Frieda McFadden.
Oh,
that twist was so good.
I did think about that one.
Yeah.
I did think about that one.
I think if I just didn't tell you the thoughts and process I had, you would have enjoyed it more. So I kind of ruined it for her.
It's okay, though, because I definitely, I was into, figuring it out.
But I picked that one. The twist, it was nuts. Daisy / Gretchen, crazy. And then I picked The Last Letter. It was just so sad.
It was so sad.
But it's a book that, like you said, you have to read it for the first time to experience it the right way.
Right.
Because now we know, like, what's gonna happen.
Exactly. Like, if I read that book again, I would
cry still, but not as hard as you did the first time.
Yeah. Like, I was sobbing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there were parts in reading that book where I just could not even...
I
couldn't even see the page because I was crying. I was like, all right, we gotta take a break.
That's something that I would have to listen to in audio if I did it again.
Right.
Because I don't think I could mentally prepare myself to read. That chapter would not exist to me. I would be like, nope. I don't see you there. You don't exist.
Exactly.
We're going to skip to the end and everyone's going to have a happy ever after. Fuck all that shit. Okay, so that was all of our books. We're going to get into our questions. So we're going to talk about our topic 1, the books we'd read again and again. It's just going to be like, why, like what about the book specifically makes us want to read it again and again. And then if we have any parts of the book that like we loved like a lot, we'll just tell you what parts it was. Just a spoiler, because I feel like we didn't spoil enough. How about that?
Yeah, that's fair.
So for the romance books, what makes you want to read it again and again?
So for the 2 that I picked, they're both by S.J. Tilley. They're both, the Alliance Men and Angelo. Nero and Angelo, my two babies, yeah. My 2 zaddies. But I just like picked it based off of the male main characters, based off the plot, based off of the tropes that are in there, the moth, like, yeah, it was just everything about it was amazing.
Literally everything.
Like I can't say anything bad about him. Yeah. So I would say it literally fits with all of that, and they were like we said, ease of reading, and like those ones for sure. We were flying through those. So that's all of the above for those guys.
What is like your favorite part in Nero?
The beginning, actually?
Yes, I was gonna say the same thing.
Yeah. The beginning, because when he just
window.
Yeah, when he just shows up and like comes into her apartment, and he's just like, I'm here now.
You really shouldn't leave your window open, whether you live on the second floor or not. Yeah. And she was just like, okay. Hi.
She's like, hey, how's it going?
Hi. You're hot. What about Angelo?
Angelo, though, I feel like the scene that I always think about is when he shows up at her job. Like when he shows up at the gym and he just like, she describes him as like completely just covering the doorway and just being like this massive force, and I'm just like,
yes.
Okay. Yeah. Same. Like that. I don't know why that one scene like always just pops in my head when I think of him.
For me, it's when she's having a meeting with one of her clients, because she's a physical therapist at a gym, and they're like walking out, and the guy hugs her, and he's just like, "Oh hell no!" And he's just like, "Move!"
Yes.
So hot.
Yes.
So hot. For my 2, I picked the Sin series. It's literally everything, like she said. It's the plot, the men. It's easy to read. It's just perfect. And then for the off-campus series, I picked the men.
Yeah.
Especially Graham and Logan.
Yeah, Graham.
Logan literally begged on his knees for his grow back, and then humiliated himself on college radio so he could get her back. And then Graham.
We love a good grovel.
Yeah. And then Graham, I don't really remember why they broke up, but he just waited for her. And Graham was literally like the biggest player on the campus. So it was just cute.
Yeah.
For our fantasy books, why did you pick those?
So for Akamath, I picked it for the plot, for sure. The plot. The plot, the characters.
The wing touching.
The wing. Yes.
The plot.
The plot. But I also love the characters in Akamath. Like you get to.
I don't deal with no slander about the circle. Fuck
right,
you guys.
exactly.
I don't care about none of you guys.
Exactly. I love getting to know all of them, and you really get it in that book a lot. And I'm just like, I love all of you. All of them. They're like my little family. I love them. So definitely that. And then Shadow in the Draw, I liked the male main character, didn't love the female main character, but I did really like the plot, and I liked the pace of the book. Like I feel like it didn't drag on. It was just enough, like it was the perfect length. Yeah. So I feel like those.
And that's so important now. Yeah. Because like we were saying earlier, books these days, the authors just make them way too long. So that's perfect.
Yeah. And a good pace, like when a book has a good pace, it really makes the book. Yeah. Like it makes it so much better.
For my 2, for Shadow and Bone, I picked the characters, the powers, the plot. It was good. Mal. And then for Dorothy Must Die, I said it was everything because the retelling was so good, and the way that we get a different side to Dorothy and Glenda, and then if you're into Wicked, it kind of like it's like all similar, so it's really nice. My favorite part of Shadow and Bone is, first of all of it. Second of all, when they kill the Darkling in the church, when she brings down everything on him, and then he still fucking survives. This man is like a cockroach. He survives everything. I mean, until he doesn't, but like he survives so much. Yeah. But I also like the way like she gets her amplifiers, because no one else has more than one, but she ends up with 3. And the amplifiers are so cool. And the way that Mal is her last amplifier. So cute, so perfect. And then my favorite part of Dorothy is when she kills Dorothy. Like, girl, perfect.
Pop off, queen.
You don't have any dystopian. I keep forgetting.
I don't.
For Divergent, it's 4.
Yeah. Yep.
It's 4, and I feel like because these are all around the same time I read Divergent, Maze Runner, Hunger Games. It was just so different. Like, there's fantasy, there's sci-fi, but then there's dystopian, and it was different. It wasn't like the Hunger Games. It wasn't like Maze Runner. Divergent had its own thing with Dauntless, with the factions and stuff like that, and it was nice. It was refreshing. I really enjoy it.
Okay.
My favorite part is 4. When we get to see him shirtless in the movie. That's my favorite part. What made your spicy books your favorite?
So for me, it was Latte Darling. I mean,
honestly, it's just the smut.
It was the smut.
What is the question?
It was the smut. And like, even like, I couldn't even probably tell you a favorite part on camera because the smut was smutting. Yeah. And that was just like
that. I did talk about a dragon and its 2 penises.
Yeah. But like, I mean, Daddy Axel just does it for me. And I love an age gap trope. So and you know what I liked a lot about this age gap trope too, which I will say is I liked that Maddie was like older. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a weird age gap. She was like a 30-year-old. Like that's fine. Yeah. That's better for me.
SJ's age gaps are like very tolerable. They're not like crazy like I don't Jennifer Hartmann.
Right. Like, oof. I don't need some weird shit. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So, but yeah, just honestly, that book. So good.
For mine, I did the Dragon's Bride again, and then it was the smut, but for me, I like the way that Katee connects all of her series. So we see the demon that she makes this bargain with in the Vampire Queen book. Yes. And I like that she connects all of her series. So it was just, that's why I picked it. And then for my other 2 books, I picked The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and The Perfect Son, just because the twists.
Okay.
The twists were so good.
Yeah.
The plot, they didn't drag along and stuff like that. They were just great.
Yeah, for mine, when I picked Maybe in Another Life, I also just picked the plot. I liked the characters in the book. The main character was kind of going through like a crisis at the moment, so just like not a midlife crisis because she was like about to be 30, but like, you know, like, who am I? Yeah, like, who am I? What am I doing with my life? Where am I going? Like, it just, when I read it, I was also kind of in that same spot, so it just felt like
real.
Yeah, it was very real to be like, okay, it's kind of crazy to think how one small decision can impact so much of your life. Yeah. So I just picked it for all of those reasons.
Okay, so for our topic 2 books, the books that bring us comfort, why did you pick your romance books?
So I picked Lotus and The Stars on Our Side, which are both from the same series. I picked those just because I liked the characters in Lotus, and I liked the characters in The Stars on Our Side. They're the most well, I wouldn't say the most connected, but they kind of are, just because Lotus focuses on Oliver, and then the Stars Are on Our Side focuses on Dean and their brothers. So it's like you kind of see how Oliver and Dean are developing throughout 2 books more so instead of just one. Like, no, Dean is wrong. Gabe. Dean is from Still Beating. Gabe is Oliver's brother. That's my bad. But yeah, I liked that you could see their development through 2 books, because a lot of them, like both of them, had a lot of things to go through. They've been through a lot, so I liked that. And then for after, I mean,
it was Harden.
Like,
yeah, it was Harden.
Harden?
Sir, yes.
Yeah.
I put it was Harden.
Yeah.
For after, and then for It Ends With Us, I picked It Was the Theme.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the selection, I picked the dystopian editions. Just because you get romance, like you're used to The Bachelor if you watch The Bachelor, so it's kind of like that. But then you have all of these dystopian editions where they have factions or ratings on how they have money and stuff like that. And then it's kind of like The Hunger Games, but not like The Hunger Games. It had like all of the dystopian books in it as well. Like they have factions like Divergent, and they're kind of starving like The Hunger Games, and they be going through it for the capital, which is the king and the queen's castle area, but I don't remember what it's called, sorry. But yeah, it's like cool.
Yeah.
My favorite part of after is anything that has to do with Harden.
Yep.
Can't narrow it down.
Fair.
And then It Ends With Us. My favorite part is when she leaves him.
Okay.
We love that.
Yeah.
We love that. And then my favorite part in the selection is when the rebellions come and kill the king and the queen. That's crazy, and I don't care.
Yep, that's fair.
What made your fantasy books the books that bring you comfort?
So I picked the Lunar Chronicles, and for that I would say it's almost like not just the retelling, but that's kind of like one aspect of it. And then also, I just loved the characters. I loved Cinder. I feel like
she's such a baddie.
I was gonna say, like, I enjoyed that she made the books centered around like the female main character.
Yes.
And they were all badasses. Like, in their own way. They all had their own, special powers and
addition.
Right, yeah. So that's why I picked that one. And then for ACOTAR, that was more so like the series. I would say the first 3 books is what I was talking about for this one. And again, that's just like the plot, the characters, the way that book was built up. Like, it was so good.
It is good.
So, yeah. I think my favorite part from the Lunar Chronicles was, I think Crest was my favorite book.
Yeah.
I forget the guy that
Thorson.
was. Yes. He was my favorite. I think it's because she was my favorite girl and he was my favorite guy, and they ended up like together. So I was just like, I love this. I support you guys so hard. I love this.
My favorite part of that series actually is when she frees him from the castle prison. Yes. Because she has to take him with him. Yes. With her. And then they steal the spaceship. He's like, this is my ship. And she goes, but this is not your ship. You stole the ship. And he goes, shh.
Yeah.
Shut up. Schematics.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
This is logistics.
Yeah. You be quiet. This is my ship.
Yeah.
But I also like her like little robot friend.
Yes.
Her little psychic. Those are her mouses.
Yes.
Because she's Cinderella.
Mm-hmm.
So the robot is her little mouses.
Yeah.
It's so cute.
And then ACOTAR, I don't even know if I could pick a favorite part, but honestly, anything that has to do with Cassian, because that's my baby.
I think for ACOTAR specifically, my favorite part would be when she goes under the mountain.
Yeah.
And does all of her trials.
Yeah. That was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For my 3, for Maximum Ride, I picked the short chapters and then Fang. Okay. I have a lot of book boyfriends. If I just say a guy's name, just assume he's my book boyfriend. For Daddy Fang.
Mood.
He was hot. That was the first book I ever read, and that was when I fell in love. Like, the first book I ever read that school didn't make me read. Yes. That's when I fell in love. He was so cute. He's fine. If you see him on a book chapter, you'll understand. Like the cover. And then for Percy Jackson, it's everything. I love everything. Greek mythology was my favorite, like, thing that we had to learn in school, so it does it perfectly. And then for I Am Number 4, it's the Powers and the side character named Nine and Sam. That's it. Maximum Ride, my favorite part, I don't remember. I haven't read them in a really long time. And then for Percy Jackson, my favorite part is when Talia comes back from the dead, or Nico, because he's so adorable. He's like a little child. He is a child, but he's like he's a good kid, and I like him. I love him a lot. Or when Rachel becomes the Oracle in the last book, the last of the main books. And then for I Am Number 4, if you saw the episode previously, I don't have a favorite part because it's all too sad. It's all really, really sad. If I had to pick one, it would be when John starts ripping apart the ship of Mogadorians after his girlfriend dies. So, too sad.
Fair. Yeah.
My dystopian book was Hunger Games, and I picked it for the plot being Peeta and Finnick. That's what I picked it for. And then my favorite part is the first one, because Peeta's so in love with her. He's so in love with her. And she's kind of just like, I don't know if this is real. I don't know if this is part of the games. And she's kind of confused. But she's in love with him too. She's just dumb and can't figure it out. But Peeta is Peeta-ing for everybody. And we love him. Why did you pick your smut book?
So my smut book that I picked was King. And I mean, listen, that man.
He's so hot.
That is a man right there. He is so hot. I love him so much. He can do no wrong in my eyes. I love him. I'm trying to think what my favorite part of that book would be. Like, there's so many.
When she runs away and gets kidnapped, and he goes and gets her. Oh, or when he has the bazooka. He always has the damn bazooka.
That actually would, that was
so funny.
Was so badass.
In one of them, he's like, "But can I use this now?"
I think that was in Hans, right?
Yeah. He's like, "But can I blow it up now?"
Yes.
He's so cute.
Yes.
He's so cute.
Oh, I love him.
I picked the Vicious Lost Boys, and it was everything: the plot, the smut, the characters, the men. And the plot.
All the men. For all the plots.
All of it. I'm not going to talk about my favorite parts because they're nasty, okay? They're nasty, so I'm just going to keep going. For our other genre books, I picked the Disney villains, and it is the characters and the different point of views. And then for Lore of Olympus, I picked it because of the theme. And I'm not going to touch on either of those. So.
Yeah, that's valid. And then, so now we're going to go into the last ones, the books that we wish we could read for the first time. So, what did you say for your romance books?
I said The Alliance. And I put the men, the characters, how easy it was to read the books. King is my favorite.
Yeah.
He's so hot. And we just talked about what our favorite scenes were. And then for The Fabric of Our Souls, I'm not going to put any spoilers for that because Courtney and I are going to read it this year.
Yes.
And I don't want to spoil it for her, so.
I appreciate you.
But the theme, the plot, the characters, they were all fantastic.
Okay. For mine, for Still Beating, I would say the characters, the themes, even though they're really fucked up themes, triggers all over.
Triggers everywhere.
Triggers everywhere for that book. But the character development, like the plot, I think it was paced well, which I've noticed some of her books are not as much. So I do appreciate that this was one of the ones where I didn't feel like it was dragging on. My favorite part, honestly, would just be anything with Dean. Like, I just loved him, the way that he like got her through that. She was such a badass. Like, the characters for sure, but
She's so resilient.
Yeah. The part that I would say is my favorite, I will not talk about on camera. But and then the last letter.
Fuck that book.
I know. I would pick, like, again, the characters. They were so good. And my favorite part is also it's not even a favorite, but it's just like the most memorable part. And it's just so soul crushing. Yeah. So soul crushing.
I picked ACOTAR and the Lunar Chronicles. For ACOTAR, it's the court system. It was very different, but not really, because like Divergent and all that stuff. But I like the court system. The men, Azriel specifically, where she was in love with Cassian. I'm in love with Azriel. I love a very silent and deadly kind of man.
I like my big burly man.
I mean, but my man has the biggest wingspan. Yeah. But I love them. Like, the inner circle is so cute. Yeah, they really are a family, and it's so nice and fresh to read. And then for the Lunar Chronicles, I picked the relationship between the significant others, Cinder's team, and I just enjoyed that it was in the future. Yeah, it was so cool.
Yeah, I agree with, because I have the Lunar Chronicles too for this one. And I agree with it being like set in the future. I loved all the like, I feel like the pairings were really good for like you said, the significant others. I feel like everyone like made sense. Yeah. They were all so cute. Like, loved all the couples in that book.
And I love the way that they did the retelling. So like Cinderella, and Prince K is Prince Charming. But then Scarlet is Red Riding Hood, and Wolf is the big bad wolf. Cress is Rapunzel. Yep. And Thorson is Flynn. He literally is a thief, and he
love him.
Yeah, it was perfect. Yeah. Winter ends up being Snow White. Yeah. And I don't remember his name. He's the huntsman. Yeah. That she ends up falling in love with. Yeah. It's perfect. You don't have a dystopian book. How dare she?
Yeah. I know. How dare she? I know. I gotta get into it more.
I picked Maze Runner because the main male trio and the twists and the turns and Newt's death. But yeah, those books are so good. I like when Thomas and Brenda end up getting separated in the second book from the rest of the group, and they have to like survive the zombies and stuff like that. It was great. And then I like in the third book when they go and try to get Mino back. I don't like when Newt dies. How dare they? Why did you pick your smut book, The Sinner?
So I picked that one because I love Sin. I mean, he's toxic. Like, he is.
He's a tolerable toxic.
He's borderline. I mean, he kind of, he definitely.
So there's Harden, and then there's Sin, and then there's all the way the fuck over there, Dom.
Yeah. I would say he's like, he's edging closer to Dom than he is Harden, but he is just like, I love him. And then the main character, the girl, she's also very similar to Cora, where she's very resilient. She's been through a lot of shit in her life. Like, she went through it. So, I just love those characters individually. I love them together. I do feel like I didn't realize this when I was reading it, but it's like over 600 pages. So it is kind of a lot. But I feel like at the same time, everything that was written in it was necessary. So I think like all that's fine. And just like the theme in general of the book, I really enjoyed. So
I picked the Hot Vampire Next Door series because the relationship between Bran and whatever the other girl's name is so cute. And like, she hates him. But he's been like, he was always into her. Yeah. So it was cute, and then I mean the sex was great. It was so good. The only thing I don't like about that series is the way that the fourth one ended.
I know. It made no sense.
You could have just ended the series. We didn't need that. Yeah. And then for our last books, I don't think you have any of those.
No, I didn't have any for this one.
So I picked The Boyfriend because it has twists and turns that are fucking crazy. And then for the last letter, it was for the plot. The sadness.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't even want to say that that's my favorite part, but it is. Like,
it alludes so much to something else happening, and when this sad thing happens, you're kind of just sitting there like,
you're like, I just got played.
I did.
And
you did.
I'm literally crying my eyes out.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
And you're just sitting. You weren't thinking of it. It wasn't something you thought was gonna happen.
That's like a book I could have never read in public at all.
No. Imagine being at work.
I could not. I could not.
And you're like, oh, I'm a G. Like, I don't cry in public, bro. But I'm about to cry.
Yeah.
That's everything, guys. Those are all the books that we hold close to our heart. The books that we want to read again and again and again. Our comfort reads and the books that we wish we could read for the very first time. Our next episode is going to come out May 4th. It is called the Knock 'Em Out series. Again, if you like this series, skip this episode. We are not going to be nice to this series. We are going to demolish it.
Mm-hmm.
So if you like that series, skip episode 6. Episode 7 is going to be our April reads and wrap up. It will be coming out the week after, so May 11th. If you have any questions about any of the books that we've read, such as the Hunger Games whole series, all 5 of them, the Marriage Auction 3, 4, and the novella for Madame Alana.
And then I have The Pieces We Leave Behind, The Dare, Reflected in You by Sylvia Day. And we'll see what the rest of my month is going to bring.
And then our shared books were Give Me More, Eyes on Me, and Vampire Academy. So if you have any questions about any of those that you want us to address, answer, leave some comments down below. If not, that's cool too. We don't really care. I mean, we do, but we don't. Because we have lots of our own questions.
Yep.
That is it for today. Have a good day. Tell someone you love them or something like that. I'm Ashley.
I'm Courtney.
And we'll book this in. Bye.
Bye.